The trawl prison camp was hidden deep inside the rocky canyons of planet Veros. The sky above was always gray, filled with smoke from factories and burning forests. The ground was cracked, dry, and covered in dust. Everything here was lifeless except the people trapped in chains. Commander Elias Vance moved silently through the shadows. His armor was black and tight to his body, made to avoid detection. He was human, part of a secret team sent to rescue important captives and destroy Trawl. Data. He had been on dozens of missions like this. But tonight felt different. Inside the camp, slaves were locked in metal cages. Most were not human. Many were insectoid, reptilian, or had thin, almost see-through skin. They were weak from hunger and beatings. The Trawl soldiers laughed loudly, never fearing anyone would dare challenge them. Elias slipped into one of the storage bunkers. He planted a device near the data core, his main target. The mission was almost complete. But then, he heard something. A soft cough. A weak breath. It came from behind a pile of broken crates. He turned, weapon ready. But what he saw was no threat. It was a small alien female. Her skin was light blue and covered in soft markings, almost like tattoos. She had 6 fingers, long silver hair, and large purple eyes. A metal collar was around her neck. Chains were attached to her wrists and ankles. She didn't speak. She just stared at him, scared but curious. Elias lowered his weapon. What's your name?" he whispered. She didn't answer. Maybe she didn't understand. Maybe she had no name. Elias looked at the door. Time was running out. The other soldiers would arrive soon. But something in his chest wouldn't let him leave. He stepped closer. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to stop the Trawl." She finally spoke. Her voice was soft and shaking. They call me Kayla." He saw scars on her arms and legs. Her back had bruises. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. "Kayla," he said, "I can get you out." "No one." "Freeze us," she replied. Elias pulled a small tool from his belt. In seconds, he unlocked her chains. Kayla gasped as the weight fell from her wrists. "Come with me," he said. She tried to stand, but her legs were weak. Elias caught her before she fell. "I'll carry you," he said, and lifted her into his arms. They moved through the camp quietly. Kayla pointed out the patrols and traps. She knew the paths the guards took. She had been here for a long time. Together, they reached the edge of the canyon. Elias hid her in a small cave while he signaled the others. "We're leaving soon," he said. "You're safe now." Kayla looked at him, confused. "You're human." "Yes. I thought your kind only cared about your own, not me," he said. "I care about what's right." Suddenly a voice called through the radio. "Elias, evac in 2 minutes. We're leaving now." He looked at Kayla. She was still weak. Carrying her back through the canyon would slow him down and maybe risk the whole team. "Take me with you," she whispered. "Please." Elias looked torn. "I want to, but I can't risk your life or the mission." Kayla's eyes filled. "With tears, then I'll die here." "No, you won't," he said. He reached into his vest and pulled out a small device. "This is a beacon. When you're ready, when you're strong enough, press this. I'll come for you." He also gave her a short, curved blade, light but strong. "Hide. Survive. Fight. You're not a slave anymore." Kayla held the blade in both hands, confused. "What am I now?" Elias looked at her and said, "You're someone worth saving." And he ran. Kayla crawled to the cave's edge and watched as the human ship lifted into the sky. Elias looked back once. Their eyes met for a second and then he was gone. She was alone again, but something had changed. Back in the Trawl fortress, General Rose was furious. "Who let the humans get in?" he shouted, his sharp claws scraping the walls. A guard bowed low. They escaped. "But someone says they saw a slave helping the human." "A slave," Rose growled. "Who?" "We think it was Kayla, the quiet one." Rose narrowed his eyes. "Find her, chain her. And when you do, make her an example." In the cave, Kayla sat with the blade in her lap. She stared at the beacon in her hand. She could press it now. Call them back. But Elias said, when you're ready. She looked at the bruises on her arms, at the burns, at the scars. She wasn't ready yet, but one day she would be. And when that day came, she wouldn't just be someone rescued. She would be someone who fought back. Kayla tightened her grip on the blade. I am not a slave, she whispered. Not anymore. The cave was dark and cold. Days passed, then weeks. Kayla stayed hidden, alone. At first she was weak. Her body hurt. Her stomach ached with hunger. But she remembered Elias's words every day. You're not a slave anymore. She survived on roots, bugs, and water from the cave walls. She sharpened the blade he gave her. She learned to move silently in the dark. Her eyes grew sharper. Her steps became quiet. Outside, the trawl searched for her. Troll ships flew low. Soldiers checked every hole, every broken rock, but they never found her. What? Kayla had become a ghost. One day, while looking for food, she found others. 3 escaped slaves, skinny, scared, hiding in a broken ship near the forest edge. When they saw her, they tried to run. I'm not Trawl, Kayla said, her voice soft but firm. One of them stopped. He was a tall insectoid male, missing one arm. The other 2 were young, maybe just children. We have nothing, the insectoid said. I'm not here to take, Kayla replied. I'm here to fight. The male laughed bitterly. Fight we are prey.
Nothing more.
Kayla stepped closer and held up her blade. A human gave me this. He believed I could be more. Believe you can too. The children looked at her with wide eyes. She gave them food and taught them how to stay hidden. She showed them how to listen, how to watch the stars and count patrol times. Soon, more runaways found them. In time, there were 12, then 2. Dozen and Kayla became their leader. Kayla remembered every trawl patrol pattern. She knew where their fuel trucks moved and when their guards were lazy. Using stolen wires and broken tech, she built traps. She led small attacks at night, silent, fast, deadly. They called her the Shadow Queen. Because she moved like smoke and struck like fire. One night, she found an old trawl storage unit in the canyon. Inside was something valuable, broken human datapad. Old, scratched, but still usable. It had maps, battle tactics, human military lessons. Kayla studied it for hours every night. She memorized every plan, every trick, every formation. Her mind became sharp. Her voice became strong, and her people followed. One of the youngest in the group, a small lizard-like girl named Selly, once asked her, "Why do you fight, Kayla?" Kayla looked at the stars above. "I fight because someone once believed I could. Do you think we can win?" Kayla smiled gently. "We don't have to win the galaxy, just have to win our freedom. And then, maybe more." News spread through the slave camps. Whispers. Stories. A former slave leads raids at night. She disappears like wind. She kills trawl captains. She frees slaves and never takes rewards. The trawl tried to stop her. They sent elite hunters. They burned villages. But Kayla always stayed one step ahead. More slaves ran from the camps and joined her. She trained them all. They didn't wear armor. They didn't have ships, but they had hoped Kayla. One day, Kayla and her fighters found a trawl transport vehicle broken in the mountains. Inside were 5 slaves, weak, chained, starving. One of them was a boy, no older than 10. Kayla cut his chains. "Who are you?" he asked in a weak voice. "I was once like you," she said. "Now I choose who I am." The The boy held her hand and cried. That night, Kayla sat by a fire, holding the small beacon Elias had given her. She had kept it safe all this time. She had not pressed the button, not yet, because she didn't want to be rescued. She wanted to rise. Weeks later, Kayla's forces attacked a small trawl outpost near the river zone. It was their biggest attack yet. Kayla led the charge. She moved fast, taking out guards before they could speak. Her fighters followed closely, striking with blades, firebombs, and stolen rifles. By sunrise, the outpost was theirs. Kayla stood over. A captured trawl commander. You used to beat the weak, she said. Now feel what we felt. But instead of killing him, she let him go barefoot, without armor, without weapon. Run, she said. And tell your masters we are not prey anymore. The next night, Kayla gathered her warriors under the stars. They sat around a fire. Old enemies and new allies side by side, lizard folk, insectoids, furred beings, and even a few human smugglers who had joined her cause. She stood before them, wearing leather armor crafted from fallen trawl scouts. You all know what we are, she said. Slaves, outcasts, broken. But today, I name us something else. She raised her blade. We are freeborn. We are not weak. We are not afraid. And soon we will be heard across the stars. The crowd roared in reply. Freeborn. Later, alone under the moonlight, Kayla held the beacon again. Her hands trembled. She pressed it. A small blue light blinked. The signal was sent, but not for rescue, for alliance. Far away, it's on a human space station, orbiting planet Tyrus Commander. Elias Vance sat in the Coombs room. He had not forgotten her. When the alert came through, weak but clear signal from the beacon, he stood up fast. Where is it from? He asked. A tech officer replied. Planet Veros, Deep Canyon Zone. It's her, sir. Elias stared at the blinking screen. He smiled. She survived. The officer looked confused. Should we prepare a rescue team? Elias shook his head. No. Not rescue, he said. He looked out the window at the stars. She's not calling for help. She's calling for war. The sky over Veros was no longer silent. Ships flew low across the canyon's, human ships, marked with the symbol of Earth's military. But they didn't come with orders to destroy. They came to meet someone. Someone unexpected, Commander Elias. Vance stepped off the landing ramp. He wore simple armor and carried no weapon in his hand. His eyes moved across the rocky cliffs. Everything looked different, stronger, organized. A group waited for him. Not soldiers, not slaves. Warriors. Alien warriors in makeshift armor, holding weapons made from trawl tech. Some stood tall and proud. Others were small but fierce. They did not fear him. They simply watched. Then she appeared. Kayla. She wore no crown, but she didn't need one. Her body was wrapped in light battle armor shaped to her form. Her eyes glowed with calm power. Around her neck hung the small beacon he had given her long ago. Elias took a step forward, stunned. You're alive. Kayla nodded slowly. You left me with a blade and a beacon. That was all I needed. Smiled. I can see that. Kayla looked around at the human soldiers behind him. You brought them, she said. You called. I didn't call for rescue. Elias looked at her people, hundreds of them in the distance, training, building, working together. I can see that too? Kayla turned and walked. Come. I want to show you something. She led him through the canyon paths, now transformed into tunnels and homes. Her people called this place the Spina Base, hidden in the rock, protected by mines and energy fields. Inside, there were maps, weapon stores, and council rooms. Kayla showed him a large map on the wall. 5 trawl bases circled in red. We've hit 3 already, she said. More remain before we reach the central hub. Elias raised an eyebrow. You planned this? Kayla looked at him. Every step. Leah stepped closer to the map. You were a slave. Now you're leading a war. Kayla looked at him calmly. When you left me, I was broken. but I found others. I found purpose, and I found power in unity. He nodded slowly. I call you something now. The Queen of the Broken. Kayla didn't smile. I didn't choose the name, but I wear it with pride. Later that evening, the Council of the Freeborn met. Elias sat with Kayla and her top commanders, different species from all over the planet. They spoke of tactics, supplies, and spreading rebellion to other trawl systems. Some humans in Ilias's team were shocked. They didn't expect such order, such planning from what had once been seen as slaves. One of Elias's officers whispered, "She runs this like a general." Elias whispered back, "She's more than that. She's a symbol." After the meeting, Kayla and Elias sat alone on a high rock looking at the stars. "I thought I'd never see you again," Elias said. "I thought you'd forget me," Kayla replied. "I didn't." Kayla looked at him, eyes calm but strong. "I don't need saving now." "I know," Elias said. "You're saving others." Kayla looked down at her people, laughing, training, healing. "I still remember what it felt like to be chained, and I never want anyone to feel that again." There was silence for a moment. Then Elias asked, "What happens after you win?" Kayla turned toward him. "We build. We create a home. Not just for the freeborn, for all who are lost." Elias smiled. "That sounds like something a queen would say." Kayla looked away. "I didn't ask to be queen, but you became one anyway," Elias replied. The next day, Kayla led an attack on a trawl data fortress. The last outpost before the central command, base. Elias and his team joined. The battle was fast and brutal. Kayla moved like lightning, cutting down guards and disabling turrets. Her people followed her with courage. Elias watched in awe as Kayla gave orders through the smoke and fire leading from the front, never hiding behind others. When they breached the command room, the trawl officers inside surrendered. One of them fell to his knees. "You were just slaves," he shouted. "How can you defeat us?" Kayla stood before him, her blade still glowing. "We were slaves, not anymore." She didn't kill him. She walked away. Elias followed. "You let him live. We're not like them," Kayla said. "Fight to be free, not to become monsters." That night, a celebration filled the canyon. For the first time in years, music played. Fires lit the dark. Children danced. Elders told stories. Food was shared among all. Elias sat beside Kayla, watching the joy around them. "You've built something rare here," he said. Kayla nodded. "But it's not finished. Next is the trawl central base." "Yes, that's where General Rose is." Elias tensed. "He's the one who ran the camps." "Yes," Kayla said quietly. "He chained me, beat me, called me nothing." Elias clenched his fist, and now. Kayla looked him in the eyes. "Now, I will show him what nothing became." The next morning, the freeborn army gathered. Hundreds of fighters. Dozens of ships. A mix of species, skills, and courage. At the front, Kayla stood tall, her blade raised high. We were left behind, forgotten, broken, but look at us now. The crowd roared. We are freeborn, and we do not bow, not today, not ever. Elias stood beside her, proud. The army launched into the sky. Their goal, the heart of the Trawl Empire, and at its gates waited the enemy, who once called her a slave. The massive warship hovered silently above the Trawl homeworld. Akar. Its hull gleamed under the distant sun, marked with the colors of Earth and the Freeborn Alliance. Inside, Kayla stood on the command bridge, looking out at the sprawling cities below, once proud centers of the Trawl Empire, now filled with fear. Behind her, hundreds of ships filled the orbit. Fighters zoomed past, ready for battle. "Commander Elias," Kayla said, her voice steady. "Today, we end this." Elias nodded. "This is what we trained for." First strike was sudden and fierce. Freeborn ships darted through enemy lines, attacking missile launchers and defense towers. Below, Kayla led the ground forces herself. Wearing her light armor and carrying the blade that had saved her life years ago, the Troll soldiers were ready. They fought with rage and fear. But the Freeborn were stronger. They fought with hope. Kayla moved through the battlefield. Like a storm, she dodged laser blasts and crushed enemy drones with her blade. Her warriors followed her, without question. Every victory gave them strength. Every defeat made them fight harder. Elias coordinated the air attacks from the ship above. His voice echoed through the comms, giving orders, adjusting plans. Kayla, the south wall is weak. Push through now. Copy that, she replied, leading her squad forward. The battle lasted for hours. Buildings burned. Explosions shook the ground. But Kayla and Elias were focused on one goal. General Rose, the cruel leader of the Troll army, had waited for them. In the central fortress, surrounded by elite guards, when Kayla reached the fortress gates, her heart pounded. RHO stood tall, wearing heavy armor and a scowl. Queen of slaves, he spat. You dare challenge me? Kayla raised her blade. I am no longer a slave, the two charged. Their fight was fierce. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. Rose was strong, but Kayla was fast and clever. She remembered the pain of her chains and used it as fuel. With a swift move, she disarmed Rose and pinned him to the ground. Do you give up? She asked. Rose snarled but nodded. Kayla stood, blade at his throat. Your reign is over. The Freeborn cheered as their leader captured the enemy general. Kayla took the flag of the Troll Empire and planted it on the fortress wall. This is the end of fear, she declared. With the fortress fallen, the Troll armies began to surrender. The war was over. Back on the command ship, Kayla and Elias looked out at the horizon. We did it, Elias said softly. Kayla nodded. But now we build a new future. The story of the slave who became a queen spread across the galaxy. Her courage and strength inspired millions. The war was over. The stars were quiet again. The Freeborn had won. Kayla stood on the balcony of the newly freed capital, looking out at the city below. The buildings were old, scarred from battle, but alive with people rebuilding their lives. Her armor was polished, but she wore no crown yet. Not because she was afraid, but because she knew true power was not in gold or jewels. It was in the hearts of the people. Elias approached quietly. You have done what no one thought possible, he said. Kayla smiled softly. I was never alone. Behind them, the council gathered aliens and humans, former slaves and warriors, all ready to create a new world together. The ceremony began. Leaders from many planets stood beside Kayla as she was crowned the first queen of the unified free systems. She looked into the crowd, seeing hope in their eyes. This crown is not mine alone, she said. It belongs to all who fought, all who dreamed of freedom. Elias stood at her side, proud. Days passed and Kayla worked hard. She met with diplomats, planned peace treaties, and helped rebuild the damaged worlds. She never forgot her past. One evening, she visited the old slave camps, now turned schools and homes. Children laughed where once there was only silence. Kayla knelt and smiled. You are free, she whispered one night. Elias prepared to leave. The mission is done, he said. Kayla stopped him. Stay, she said. There is still work to do, and I want you by my side. Elias looked into her eyes and nodded. Together, they looked out at the stars. Kayla's journey from slave to queen had changed not just her life, but the galaxies. She whispered, I was always more. I just had to believe it. And now, she would lead all beings into a new future, where freedom and hope would shine brightest across the stars.